Hi, I'm Martin Capel, the producer for Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, and you're watching Platform 32.
When you play as Connor in Assassin's Creed 3, you have the lives of his victims in your hands. But now, with Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, you can have the life of an assassin in your hands. Ha! See what I did there? Because Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation is on the PS Vita, and the Vita is a handheld, so you're holding the assassin in your hands. Oh, never mind. Here's some brand new, never-before-seen gameplay footage from Liberation for you to watch while the game's producer Martin Capel tells us all about it.
This is the first full Assassin's Creed experience for handheld. Liberation is developed exclusively for the PlayStation Vita by Ubisoft Sofia. And it features new story, new settings, new assassin. Everything about it is full Assassin's Creed. The gameplay, the navigation, the open world experience, the stealth, all on a handheld.
Now, you say Liberation is full Assassin's Creed gameplay, but you must have had to scale some things back to make it fit onto a handheld. How big is the experience compared to, say, Assassin's Creed 3?
Liberation is around 15 to 20 hours of gameplay, depending on your experience as an Assassin's Creed player. In terms of actual scope, scale, the gameplay, however, there was no compromise. I mean, the Vita is a very capable platform. We've worked very closely with Sony and Montreal all the way through the project, so it is full Assassin's Creed.
Graphically, the game looks stunning for a piece of handheld software, and the graphics are strikingly similar to that of AC3. Is the game running on the same engine?
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Liberation, we're using exactly the same Anvil Next engine as Assassin's Creed 3, so we've been able to make use of all the innovations and improvements that they've brought in. We've got the new combat system, the tree running, everything that Assassin's Creed 3 has was available to us. We took what we felt was appropriate to Abilene and life around New Orleans, and then added our own new features and new features for the Vita as well, so what you get is a fresh new experience in Liberation.
There's plenty to do in AC3 when Connor ain't out tomahawking his victims in the face. Will Liberation also have plenty of mini-games and side quests to make New Orleans a living, breathing world?
Yeah, definitely. In New Orleans, the Louisiana Bayou, we take the player to Mexico and some other locations that we're not disclosing just as yet, but you can expect everything from Assassin's Creed, you know, a big open world that you can free run, navigate, explore, side quests, everything's there.
Cool, so you'll have all the chase breakers when running through the cities and all that parkouring through trees as well then?
The whole free running experience, the tree navigation, the assassinations from the trees, from the air assassinations, the special moves of holding people in front of you to act as a shield when people are shooting at you, using muskets, it's all there.
Please, no, spare my wife and child.
Like you've spared the lives of slaves and laborers you've ripped from their families?
Tell us about the new assassin we play as in Liberation called Abilene. She's like a girl and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right. Abilene is our new assassin. She's the daughter of a wealthy French merchant and his African bride. This was an unusual system that was prevalent in Louisiana at the time, called plaçage. It originated because they couldn't encourage enough women to come from France to the New World. Many children were born. Some of these were cared for and loved, and Abilene is one of these lucky ones.
So what kind of differences does Abilene have compared to a male assassin? Is she more nimble? Does she have different weapons? Come on, Martin, spill the beans!
I would be happy to help a fellow.
She's, I mean, one of the first things we did when developing Abilene was as for the game was actually to look at the animations. we changed her navigation completely and the way she stands and everything, so that she's much more graceful. And her own weapons that we've brought her as well, they're very reflective of the area she lives in. So you've got the machete of the sugarcane plantations, something that the workers use to harvest the crop. She uses to harvest victims. She's got a blowpipe, which is the hunting tool of Mesoamerica, and the whip, which is probably one of the greatest symbols of life and times in the area, with the prevalence of the contrast of wealth and slavery and poverty. So we've brought those weapons in for Aveline, and then she's adapted them and made them her own. So yeah, she's a graceful character, but also still she's a full-on assassin with all the qualities of an assassin. She's the equal of any man.
Both games have the words Assassin's Creed 3 in their titles, but both have different protagonists and geographical settings. How have you tied the two plots together?
Yeah, the situation in New Orleans and the relationship it had with the colonies. We are contemporary with the American Revolution, and in the build-up to the Revolution, New Orleans was very much a base for smuggling goods through to the colonies. The British taxation of paper and steel, iron, clothing, everything. It led to a rise in smuggling, which principally was through New Orleans and up the Mississippi. As events escalated in the colonies, the whole area got drawn into a war. So you had the conflict of the old world and the new. New Orleans came into this because it was like a secure path for goods and weapons and money from France and Spain to the colonies, again up the Mississippi. Britain wasn't happy about this, obviously, so there was conflict here, which by this time New Orleans was controlled by the Spanish. The Spanish actually won the battle against the English, so they kept this route open. So New Orleans was very fundamental to the success of the revolution and keeping goods coming to the colonies. So you know, as everything escalated, it came together. So inevitably, Aveline from New Orleans, Connor from his activities in the colonies, and the revolution, they meet at the end, because basically the revolution took everything in.
Cool, so we definitely get to see Aveline and Connor meeting at some point during the game.
Yes, yeah, I can't go into more details than that, but yes, I can tell you they meet.
Fair enough, Martin. Now, AC3 will of course be having a multiplayer mode, but what about Liberation? Can the handheld version handle a deathmatch or two?
Liberation does feature multiplayer. We're not actually going into more details on what that is at the moment, but it's been developed specifically for the Vita.
Okay, cool. And as the game is out on the PS Vita, will there be any PS3 connectivity included?
You do get bonus material for connecting PlayStation 3 and Vita together, but again, at the moment, this is something we're not revealing.
Oh, you secretive so-and-so. Bonus content is always nice though. We'll just have to find out what it is closer to release then, I guess. Thanks for the chat, Martin. Do you have any final words for us regarding AC3 Liberation before I silently slit your throat and dump you into a hay bale?
Just to sum up by saying this is the first full Assassin's Creed experience on Vita, and it's a must-have.
After playing a tiny portion of the game, Martin, I'm inclined to agree with you there. My experience with the Vita hasn't been great. Sony's weird, couldn't care less about our product attitude has meant that mine's gathered more dust than my Wii, thanks to the incredibly slow trickle of releases and the supreme lack of standout titles. So it's nice to see that finally there are some solid AAA titles like this one on the horizon. Liberation controls just as nicely as AC3, and it's very clear to see that the same engine is running the game. I really like the idea of having a female assassin too, especially one as pretty as Aveline. When she parkours up the side of those buildings, she totally puts the ass in assassin. Sorry, I had to force that one in there. It would have sounded well weird if I'd used the same joke about Connor. Yeah. So anyway, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation is out on the same day as Assassin's Creed 3, so hold off trading in your PS Vitas until then, because it looks like you'll finally have something to play on that does the system justice.
Ugh.